G'day Snowcentral fans. We're going to give you a bit of an insight into Camber technology and how it works. One of the big questions we get asked here at Snowcentral is the difference between Camber and rocker. So we're going to start by running you through how the Camber works. We've got a little Camber board here, but Will, give us the basics, mate.
Okay, cool. So to understand how snowboards work, first thing you got to know is what goes into making a snowboard turn. So there's three parts of the board that are effectively used when turning. There's your contact point at the tip, your contact point at the tail, and what runs in between that is called your effective edge. Now you can find your contact points because they're generally the highest point on the side cut of the board. So, to turn a snowboard, what you do is you roll it up onto its edge, your two contact points at the tip and at the tail engage into the snow and bite down, and then you press through the camber in the middle there, and then your effective edge starts running in the snow. So the higher up you go, the harder you have to press, and the tighter that board bends up, which ultimately means the tighter your turn becomes. Okay. So with camber, the big advantage to that is when you're pressing down through that positive shape there, you're actually creating a whole bunch of downward pressure onto your contact points.
When I started snowboarding, edge catching used to be a bit of an issue on the Camber boards. How does that play into, I guess, the design of these bad boys?
Sure. So there's a big misconception that the edge catching is purely because your edges sit in or your contact points sit in the snow. That's partly to do with it. It's also partly to do with physics and where energy stores. So that we know that boards turn by using contact point, and effective edge. Now when you've got a snowboard like this that's loose through the middle, although this is where you generate your energy from, because that's where your feet are and that's where the main flexion of the board comes, it actually tends to store itself in a more stable place. Unfortunately, the most stable place on a snowboard is the flat section behind the tip and behind the tail, where the board loads down. So you generate all this energy in between the board and under your feet, and then it goes and sits up at the tip and up at the tail. Now snowboarders should always be riding on an edge, but you get yourself on a fairly long cat track and you go for 2-3 minutes on your tippy toes and you get the calf burn. You get a little bit lazy and you sit flat on the base of the board. Now you've got all that energy sitting behind your contact point, which is what you use to initiate your edge turn. You're not necessarily thinking about turning the board, but you hit an uneven piece of snow or you hit a rider's track, a pre-existing rider's trail or something like that. That contact point with all the stored energy pulls in, like it's trying to turn you. You're still thinking about going straight, and then
we've all done that.
Edge core.
Yeah. All done that.
Yeah. So, a quick wrap up on camber. Great for your powerful riders that really want those poppy, snappy edge transitions. Good for the big air jumping if you really want something that's going to load up and help bring you down on your landing. Great for aggressive riders if you're looking at doing any border cross type things, or you're just one of those guys that loves milking speed off every carve. Not so good for your first timers or beginners who are just trying to develop their skill set, or people looking for a really easy cruisy run. And I probably wouldn't recommend camber too much for powder riding either.
Okay, great. Thanks for that.
Awesome.
If you've got any questions about how Camber tech works that you might not have got your head around yet, feel free to leave a question in the comment section below or hit us up on our Facebook or Google+. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks,